Eileen stood by the window, watching the world unfold outside her small, cozy living room. She wasn't one to say much, but she noticed everything. The way her neighbor, Mrs. Walters, hesitated before entering her house, as if dreading the emptiness that awaited her. The way her colleague, Mark, always smiled too brightly on Mondays, trying to mask the weight of loneliness he carried from a weekend spent in silence. Eileen saw it all: the likes, the dislikes, the hidden hurts, and the unspoken joys of those around her. Her family was her refuge, her safe space. With them, she could be herself, vulnerable and unguarded. Her husband, Daniel, and her two children, Sam and Lily, were the only ones who knew the real Eileen. They knew her silent smiles, the way she squeezed their hands a little tighter when the world outside became too loud, and the gentle sighs that spoke of words unspoken. At work, Eileen was the listener. Colleagues often came to her with their troubles, knowing that she would never judge. She would nod, offer a soft smile, and perhaps a comforting word or two. They thought she was just shy or reserved, not realizing that her silence was a choice. She kept her thoughts locked away, not because she didn't have anything to say, but because she knew that words had the power to heal and to hurt, to lift up or to crush. And so she chose to hold her words close. One day, while sitting in the break room, she overheard a conversation between two co-workers, Sarah and Jack. They were discussing the upcoming promotion, each one trying to outdo the other in their self-praise. Eileen noticed how Sarah's eyes darted to the floor every time Jack mentioned his achievements, a flicker of doubt crossing her face. She could see that Sarah was comparing herself, wondering if she was enough. Eileen wanted to tell Sarah that she was more than enough. She wanted to tell her that she had seen the late nights she stayed back to finish work, the way she always helped others without expecting anything in return. But Eileen kept those words inside. She just smiled at Sarah when their eyes met, hoping that the warmth in her gaze would convey what her lips never said. At home with her family, Eileen's silence broke. She would talk for hours with Danielle, sharing her thoughts, her fears, and the little things she noticed throughout the day. She laughed openly with Sam and Lily, their joy infectious and unrestrained. Her family was her circle, the place where her soul could breathe and her heart could speak. One evening, while they sat around the dinner table, Daniel looked at her with a soft smile. "You're so quiet when you're out there," he said, nodding toward the world beyond their home. "But in here, you're like a different person." Eileen shrugged, a hint of smile tugging at her lips. "Out there, People don't always want to hear what you have to say. They want to be seen, to be understood without being judged. Maybe they need to hear it, Sam said thoughtfully. Maybe your words could make a difference. Eileen's smile faltered for a moment. She thought of Mrs. Walter's sad eyes, Mark's bright smile that didn't quite reach his eyes, and Sarah's unspoken insecurities. A million words she could have said, a million moments where her silence felt both like a comfort and a burden. Perhaps, she said softly, but sometimes it's not about the words we say, but the silence we offer. Silence can be a refuge too. Perhaps a place where people feel safe to be themselves without the fear of being judged. Her family fell silent, each one lost in thought, and Eileen felt a warmth spread through her chest. This was her solace, her little circle of understanding. Here, she didn't have to be the silent observer or the quiet listener. Here, she could be the woman who felt deeply, who loved fiercely, and who, despite a million words left unsaid, found peace in the spaces between them. And so, Eileen continued to watch, to notice, and to understand. She knew that not everyone needed words to heal. Sometimes all they needed was someone who saw them, truly saw them, even in the silence. And so as I end today's story, A Million Words Unsaid, I leave this poem with you, The Gift of Silence. When anger swells and tempers flare, and words rise up sharp as the air, pause a moment, breathe and see the power in silence. Let it be. For spoken thorns can wound the soul, and words once loosed take their toll. But quiet like a gentle rain can wash away another's pain. Silence shields where anger stings and calms the storm that chaos brings. A bridge of peace where voices cease, a place where bitter tongues release. Better still to hold your peace than let harsh words refuse to cease. For silence speaks in love's embrace, leaving room for healing grace. So when you're tempted to reply with words that hurt or make one cry, choose silence. It's the kind of way. Let gentle grace have the final say.